And welcome back to another episode of the Video Marketing Show. My name is Amanda Robinson. I am the Digital Gal, and today we're going to be talking about audience building, specifically audience building using video on Facebook. So if you are catching this on the replay, I'm very, very grateful that you're catching this and watching this all the way through. Please feel free to leave your comments. Even if you're watching this on the replay, I will circle back and say hi. And now that we've got live viewers popping on, if you are watching this live, feel free to drop any comments in, say hello. You know the drill. You know the drill. So today we're going to be walking ourselves through a blueprint on how to grow your audiences leveraging video. So this is something that I feel is completely underutilized in the world of Facebook advertising. People usually skip right past this step and they jump all the way into the deep end of trying to get conversions and trying to make sales off of a cold audience. Now, when we're growing a video audience, growing an audience of people who have watched our videos on Facebook, it's what I like to call a very cheap and cheerful audience. It doesn't cost us that much money, but there is a small strategy behind it and a couple little areas where you can trip and fall flat on your face. So I'm going to help you not fall flat on your face. I'm going to help you break this information down and understand what this means so that you can start leveraging it to build audiences using Facebook in a lower cost way. So in the meantime, let's hop on over to the chat and let's get some hellos going on in here. Let me pull the chat up. And if you are here, feel free to leave a comment and it should do this. Hello from Baltimore. It's good to see you. Hello, hello. Anybody else popping in live, feel free to drop your chat in there. Usually we have Evie stop by and Justin. So I'm looking for the regulars. And I also want to know in the comments if you have run any video ads on Facebook. And if you haven't, well, then it's my job to try and get you to start. David, it is great to see you. David, let me know where you are tuning in from. And again, let me know if you've tried any video ads. I also want to give a shout out to Odua, who is also watching. And awesome. So I'm going to leave that chilling there. So while that's hanging there, while you're telling me where you're tuning in from, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a video view background on why this is so important. Chad, hi. So video views are a critical part of your audience building. So you know me, I like to talk about cold, warm, and hot audiences. So let's frame that first, and then we can dig in. So a cold audience is somebody who doesn't know you. They haven't met you yet. It's a first impression. It's like walking into that party and getting introduced to somebody, doing that little handshake and saying, hi, my name is Amanda Robinson. I am the Digital Gal. And I should pull that up right there. And then when it comes to a warm audience, imagine coming back to another party and you've already met some of the folks there and you get walked over and reintroduced. It's like, oh, I already know Amanda. I met you last time at blah, blah, blah. And you teach Facebook advertising. How's that going for you? Warm audience. You have some level of familiarity. And then hot audience is, hey, Amanda, I know you like going out to those events. I'm going to one. Do you want to come with me? That's an example of calling up somebody a little more familiar and inviting them and them saying yes. It's the same idea with sales. Cold audience, they don't know you yet. You're showing an ad in front of them. Warm audience, okay, they've been exposed to your content. They have some idea who you are, some idea what you do, and they're familiar. So there's a familiarity there. And then a hot audience, they are ready to buy. They're ready for you. They are ready to buy. So how do we get people moving from cold audiences to warm audiences to hot audiences? One way you could do it is you could just jump out there and serve an ad to a cold audience of people and see if they'll convert. It's like rolling the dice. It's like taking your chances. Like, let's pick our targeting on Facebook. Let's throw it out there, see what happens. Sometimes people bite, sometimes they don't. So another approach, if you're struggling with selling to a cold audience, another approach is warming up your audiences. And how can we do that? Video is going to be a crucial part. Giant shout out to the Rockpile podcast tuning in from Rome. Is that Rome as in Rome, New York? And then David is saying loves Restream. Yes, Restream is a big, by the way, I have a little video I'm going to show you partway through this broadcast. And a lot of you have been asking how I do all of this stuff. How do I pull in the chat overlay? How do I pull up the captions and hide the captions? How do I toggle on and off these lovely graphics like the one we're going to talk about today? And I have a little video bumper that I'll show you partway through to show you how I do all of this with Restream. I'm a big fan of Restream. Okay, let's dive in, shall we? So first and foremost, I'm going to scoot myself over to this side because I'm going to pull up a graphic that's going to take up a huge portion of the screen here. All right, so let me pull this one up. Okay, so I'm gonna stick my little face over here. First thing I want you to know about building an audience on Facebook is that we can very easily build a video view audience, which doesn't cost as much as trying to get people off to your website or getting people to fill out a lead form or getting people to make a purchase or a conversion. Those are more expensive. We're going to stay on the cheap and cheerful side so that we can build an audience of warm people who have some familiarity with us. So when it comes to audience building, these are the metrics that we are looking at. If you go to create an audience in Facebook, these are some of the audiences that you can create. People who have viewed at least 3 seconds of your video, 10 seconds of your video, people who have watched 15 seconds or to completion if it's a shorter than 15-second video. People who have watched 25%, 50%, 75%, or 95% completion of your video. Now, I'm just going to give you a heads up. Facebook has kind of pulled out the reporting for the 10-second one. If you go to look in your reports and see, oh, of my campaign, how many people made it to 10 seconds, you won't see that metric in there anymore. But you can still build an audience off of it. Facebook, I don't know why. But anyway, so I'm setting the stage with these are the different metrics that we can build audiences off of. So we can build an audience of people who have watched 3 seconds or more of any of our videos on Facebook. It's not going to be an extremely high quality audience by any means. I mean, if you saw 3 seconds of my video while you were scrolling and you kept on cruising along, then that doesn't really necessarily give me a great indication that you're interested in me or interested in the content that I produce. So it's not a high indicator, but you were reached with my content and technically I could retarget you. Now, if I retarget somebody who's watched 10 seconds or more of video, that's a little more of an interest that shows a little bit more interest there. Now, think about it this way. Getting somebody to watch past 6 seconds of a video on Facebook is kind of a big deal. Getting people to watch past 15 seconds, which Facebook calls a through play, also kind of a big deal. But you get people out here that are doing ads and they put together video content and they think, okay, I'm going to push that video out. I'm going to spend $300 on this ad. It's going to reach, 30,000 people. And I'm going to get a ton of views on this video. And then therefore in the back of your mind, you think, oh, I got X number of views in the video. Therefore, people must have watched the video. Not really the case. Most of the time, they just saw about 3 seconds and then they moved along. And of the number of people who are actually making it to the end, it's very, very small. But with that, I still want to encourage that there's huge value in, once I show you all the little inner workings here of how this works, that you will be able to build your own audiences, knowing this information, being able to go into, look at the results of any Facebook ad campaigns you run, make your campaigns better, reach more people, build that audience at a lower cost. That's the ultimate goal here. Popping in, we've got somebody tuning in from sunny California, Bakari from sunny California. I kind of wish I can't wait till I can travel down there. This August, I should be able to make it down to California. I've been holed up in the most beautiful place in Canada, but I'm still waiting until I can cross that border. All right, so let's pull up some info here. Let's go down. Let's pull up this one here. So we've got different ways that we're measuring our video views. So Facebook, out of the number of people that we reach with our video, so when you're reaching people, we'll put an ad together, we serve it out there, and that ad reaches so many different sets of eyeballs. Individual people are seeing that ad. That's people reached. How many people did your content reach? And then we have video plays. Now, how many of those people that we reached actually watched the video? And you can actually have a higher number of video plays than people reach. So you might have reached 10,000 people, but they might have watched the video 20,000 times. That means every person watched the video twice. So that's something to keep in mind. And then we've got our 3-second plays, 10-second plays, and 15-second plays. And one thing I want to point out is that the volume of people drops off by about half at every single one of these stages. Half. So let's see if let me pull that up here. All right. So let's pretend, is that the one I want? No, I'm going to go back to this one. So if they're dropping off by half, that first one I showed you where we've got video plays, 3-second views, 10-second views, and 15-second views, then we keep carrying on. We keep going deeper down the rabbit hole where we get 25-second plays, or 25% of people have viewed through 25% to completion of your video, 50% completion, 75% completion, and 95% completion. How many people made it basically to the end of that video? Generally, from the number of people that have played your video, the number of people reached, it's usually massive. And then it drops like a rock. So how do we prevent that? Well, first we need to understand what we're looking at. So let's go into this one. Let's hypothetically say if everybody is dropping off by half at every single one of these stages, then imagine if we had 100,000 video plays. Then by the time you cruise on down to the very end, we only have about 6,250 who have actually watched that video. Now, if I drop these numbers by half along the way, this is hypothetical. It's just a general rule that I give to people so that when you go to retarget, when you go to take one of those audiences that I showed you right up here, and you're like, oh yeah, I want to retarget people who have watched 50% of my videos. Because if they've watched through to half of my videos, they're very interested and I want to retarget them and it's going to be great. Yeah, but if people are dropping off and you're only getting a small portion down to watch 50%, you're trying to retarget based on that, thinking that you've got 100,000 people to work with, but you're actually targeting 25,000. It's hard to calculate your budget unless you know what audience sizes you're working with here. And then when you try to retarget people who have watched your entire video, it's drops like a rock. So this is hypothetical. This is sort of a blueprint of what I give people for generous expectations of video views on Facebook. Now, those generous expectations, let's throw some reality in there. All right. So these are results off of an actual campaign, and this is what you can actually expect. This is an example of a 1-minute video. So just 1 minute in length, and it reached 6,400 people. And remember how I said earlier how you can reach lots of people, but those individual people might watch that video more than once. They might be served that video more than once. They might have lots of impressions. They might get that video across their news feed or see it over on Instagram or in Facebook Marketplace. They might see it in multiple places multiple times. And so that therefore those individual sets of eyeballs have seen that video multiple times. So how many times was that video played? In this case, that campaign reached 6,400 people and the video was played about 10,000 times. I rounded up on these numbers. And then of 3-second views, that drops down to 4,600. And it's close to half. See how it drops in half every step down we go. 10-second views, Facebook doesn't give us that in our reporting anymore. That's an older metric, but they still let us build audiences off of that. Crazy. And then 15-second plays, which Facebook lovingly calls a through play, which is the most misleading label for any metric you could possibly put out there. When you're saying through play and you look at your Facebook reports and it's like, oh, I spent $300 on my ad and I had 900 through plays. You think that's 900 people watching the video all the way through. Wouldn't you think so? Not so much. Not really the case. Through plays are only 15-second plays. So then we cruise it along. So keep in mind that 15-second play, this is a 1-minute video, so that's 25% of the video. So if I click into this next screen, that 25% played, 25% viewed through is that 900 number. And then these are still the stats off that exact same campaign. We keep going. All right, well, how many made it to 50% of the video? Only 300. Okay, well, how many made it to 75%? Only 200. How many actually watched the whole video start to finish? Out of 10,000 video plays, 160 actually made it all the way to the end of that video. So the first step that we have to take into consideration for any kind of audience building using video, which yes, is cheap and cheerful. It really costs us for these video plays. It's costing me about 1 cent per video play. It's not a ton of money, but to get those people watching all the way from start to finish, it does start to add up. Let me just double check the chat in here. This has got to be Evie. I really got to say it's got to be Evie because Amanda, that's like an Evie hallmark. And then we've got Mark D. Great content so far. Vancouver, you are literally right above me. I'm down in Victoria. So you are probably getting some gorgeous weather right now. It's good to see you. If you are tuning in, drop a little comment in. Let me know where you are tuning in from. So carrying on down this conversation here. So we really have to manage our own expectations. And I'm just going to wrap it back to this concept here again, when you go to build those audiences and you go to retarget people to keep your warm audience engaged, we are really looking at these earlier metrics here of when you first start out building that audience, when you're first getting going, you don't have much to work with. Don't take a dive right off the deep end and try and retarget people who have watched 95% of your videos, because nobody's watching them. And don't take that poorly. It's just the nature of how the attention span works on Facebook as people are scrolling. And it also depends on where they saw those videos. So were they shown your video in an interruptive, forced video view play, or were they shown that video in the mobile newsfeed, which is like the holy grail of placements that costs a little bit more, but usually gets us a higher attention span? So there's a lot of factors that go into that. But when you're first starting to grow your audiences and you want to audience build, leveraging video because it is cheap and cheerful, where we can get video views at less than a cent per video view. We want to take into consideration that we can't jump right off the deep end right away. We might need to retarget and build a warmer audience of people who have had those lower touch points. Maybe start with the 3 seconds or more of people who have watched your video. And then once you get those numbers starting to grow, then take it to the next stage and go up to the people who have watched 10 seconds or more of your video, and then 15, and et cetera, and grow it from there. How do you know when you can move up to the next stage? This is like a little nugget, little tidbit for you here. If you're serving ads to one of those audiences that you've built and you're retargeting people, and you realize that your impressions, you're showing the same number of eyeballs, the same ad a ton of times. We're talking, they're seeing it 4, 5, 6, 7 times per person. That's way too many impressions for a video view to generally a not very warmed up audience. And you're going to exhaust your audience very quickly, and they're going to click on hide ad or hide all ads. So you're going to exhaust them. So if you're trying to retarget too small of a pool of people, you're going to tire them out really quick. We don't want to do that. So we want to build a bigger pool. We want to get more people into that pool. So we have to get significantly more video views into the top of that funnel to get more people moving through those different stages. And as you grow, as those different stages grow, based on the quality of content that you're putting out there, the volume of campaigns that you're running, then you start to grow an audience of people who have an idea of who you are. And then you can move up to the next stage. When you're running those campaigns, you're retargeting, and you're realizing that you're not running up the ladder on impressions and things are looking pretty stable, then you can, and you're continually growing your audience size with video views, then you can move up to the next stage. Then you can grab that next, then you can build an audience on that next tier and go, okay, yes, now we're going to retarget that warm audience at the next tier and get even, go after people with more attention span on our content. And I've got another thing to show you here. Let me close that. And it is Evie, of course. Yep, your favorite German. She really is. I'm so glad you're here, Evie. Okay. And then we've got, so let me pull this back up here. So back to this conversation here. Remember how we went from originally in our reporting, Facebook was like, hey, your video was played 10,000 times. But when you dig into the reporting and you actually look at the metrics, you're like, yeah, thanks, Facebook. But, not that many. Oh, sorry. I've jumped ahead one slide, but not that many people are actually making it through to completion. So I've got this next slide for you here. When I'm taking a peek at somebody's ad account and I'm looking in the back end, I'm just like digging my way through, checking out different campaigns to get a lay of the land and understand what they've done in there and what's working for them, what's not, tinkering through and seeing if we can make any improvements. If I see something like this, where we've got about 10,000 video plays, typical, cool. But if almost 100% of those, if a very, very, very high percentage of those video plays are reaching 25% in a 1-minute video, meaning that's they're getting past that 15-second mark, and then it drops like a rock after that, that's a huge indicator to me that their ads are circulating in ad placements that are forced video views. Meaning, those ads where you're watching something on Facebook and it's very interesting, and all of a sudden the video gets interrupted with a 15-second ad that you have to watch. It's a forced play before you can hit skip ad. Right. That's an example of a forced video play. Also, imagine if you are playing a game on an app and all of a sudden you get to a certain point and you have to watch a 15-second video before you can continue playing your game. Those are examples of forced video views. And that's not exactly a very strong indication of people's interest in your content. So in those particular placements, you're going to notice really high results, but very few people are actually making it through to completion. And this is based on what I would consider typical. And again, showing you, I think it's this one. Yeah. Typically, you're going to see people, and this is generous, you're typically going to see people drop off by 50% the whole way. So if there's not a big gap between, if I'm not seeing about a 50% drop off in these numbers, and I'm seeing it really, really heavy loaded up top and then really, really weak down below, then I'm going to go, oh, hey, that's an indicator to me that I should probably go and check the placements. See where these ads are showing up. Let's go have a look. So if you go into your reporting, you can pull up a breakdown of your placements and see where those ads are showing. By the way, I teach all of this in week 4 of the 4-week Facebook ads bootcamp, and this is coming up. The next one launches in August. So if you want to get in on that, you can go to swiftkickintheads.com, sign up for the 4-week Facebook ads bootcamp, join the Swift Kick in the Ads membership, and we go through all of this in week 4. So if you are looking at your reporting and we're looking at a video view campaign, and sure enough, right there, in-stream video, all of the majority of those views, well, not majority, we have a good amount happening in the mobile newsfeed, which is very healthy. But then we have a large amount that's delivering in stream videos. And those are forced video view plays where people have to, they're getting a video interrupted essentially. And those are not exactly a high quality indicator of if that content is very valuable. So I'm popping in to take a peek at the comments here. Chad, ooh, need a better video. Yes. Bingo. You just summarized right there, Chad. You basically just summarized exactly how to navigate through all this. So I'm showing you all the numbers and the metrics and the funnel and the drop off and the percentages and blah, 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 blah. It is important that you know all that stuff. But the bottom line is if you don't care about all this stuff and all this stuff and all that, well, this one you do need to pay attention to because this is a bit of a trap Facebook will suck you into. But you need better video. You really do need better video. Better video means nothing, though, if you are getting caught into this in-stream video trap where it's forced video plays. It works for some people for awareness building, not so much for other people if you're trying to audience build based on attracting attention span based on your video content, which is a cheaper way of growing audiences than, say, going out there and reaching a cold audience with lead ads. And then Chad is saying, I don't like to run my videos. Wait, I don't like to run my videos on a video. I don't like to run my videos on. It literally took me a second to clue in there. Like, circular reference does not compute. 404 error. That's what he's talking about. In-stream videos. Don't like to run your video ads in the middle of a video to interrupt in-stream. Yeah. And then what have we got here? Forced video seems to be presented as a pure ad, like a billboard or a commercial. Yeah, it's not a great representation of I don't like using them. Honestly, I usually pull out that placement altogether. If I'm in there, I usually go in and I pull out the audience network, and then I go in and I pull out in-stream videos. If I'm running video campaigns for clients, that's usually the first 2 go-to spots. So I'll go in and edit my placements. You find those at the ad set level. Go in and edit your placements, and I pull out in-stream and I pull out audience network, and then it can more evenly spread across Facebook's other assets. And then we've got Mashup Gamer. I don't even know why I'm here. Well, even if you don't know why you're here, I'm glad you're here. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm making assumptions based on your name, Mashup Gamer, the word gamer. On next week's show, I've got somebody really cool and fun coming on. So I've got someone coming on who is actually I don't even know his technical term. If you know gaming, if you know Gears of War, Microsoft Gears of War, I'm bringing on somebody who had a very big hand in all the character rigging on that to be able to talk about that. Anyway, I don't want to show too much on that. But yes, for all of the gamers in the house, you're going to want to be tuning in next week to next week's show. So let's pull up. Let me check in here. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to take a teeny little break here and show you. This is the point where I'm going to be showing you. A lot of folks have been asking about Restream, what I'm using here to be able to pull up all these captions, all this information. If you also want to be doing all of this, like I created these graphics and I created all these little overlays. Let me pull this down. Let me pull these up. Like all of these things that I'm pulling up on screen, like this thing, all of this. I created those within, I'd say, 15 minutes before the show. It's so easy to go and create those, pull these graphics in, pull them into Restream. And a lot of you have been asking me over the last little while, how am I doing that? So I went and made you a video. So I'm going to play that now. You've got 1 minute of this, and then I will be back. Okay, so that's just to give you a little tiny behind the scenes look at what my actual dashboard looks like right now as I'm doing this. Matchup Gamer, I've been using Restream for years. Well, good. Then I'm glad you're here. Super familiar. This is awesome. Yes, it is. It is good, isn't it? And then Chad is saying that was great. Awesome. So I've got something for you. Check it. Check it. Check it. I've got a 7-day free trial for you. So if you want to dive in and use all of the pro features, it's a pro 7 days pro free. The brain is not working today. If you want that, you can head on over to thedigitalgal.com/7 days free. I'm going to put that in the Digital Gal 7 days free. Voila, you can click in there, check that out, and then you get to try out all this lovely stuff too. And then on top of that, you know me, when it comes to video, building video views and building out my audience, which is exactly what we're talking about today. When it comes to live video, all of this, everything that I'm doing with Restream here ends up getting packaged out, repurposed, and put into video ads and recycled and repeated so that I can continue to reach my warm audiences with high quality content and content they're interested in. And if there are people that are not interested in seeing all this stuff and seeing what I do, it's okay. Over time, they don't interact with the content, and then my content gets demoted in the newsfeed, and then new people see the content, more people interact with it. So my audiences stay fresh. That's the other thing I wanted to point out here. So let me pull this caption down. The other, remember I told you I was going to talk to you about a couple little pitfalls when it comes to doing audience building using video views on Facebook. Let me pull this lovely thing up here again. Scooch over here. Okay. The one caveat, the one thing you need to know is that these audiences don't auto. This is the one audience, if you're going to create audiences on Facebook, that doesn't auto-populate or it doesn't auto-update. I think that's the word I'm looking for. It doesn't auto-update, meaning if you want to create video view audiences of all the people who have watched all of your videos to, say, 10 seconds of completion, or watch at least 10 seconds of those videos, you go in, you create the audience, you have to select the videos that you want included in that audience, which is also a really cool trick that you can do. You can, video views are one of the only types. Let me pull myself back up here. Video views are one of the only types of audiences that you can use to retarget people based on them seeing a specific ad. So you can't do that based on, oh, if somebody just clicked on if somebody clicked on this particular ad over here, that's just a static image, you can't retarget people that specifically just clicked on that one ad, unless it was going to your website and you had your pixel on your website and everybody in the world has opted into the iOS 14, which, spoiler alert, they haven't. So the only way to really retarget people who have watched one specific ad is to use a video ad. And then when you go to create your audience, you just use that one specific video. But the other tactic is people retargeting people who have watched any of your videos for that length of time. And then you continue to refresh that list and add new videos as you create new videos and as you post new videos to your Facebook page. So those audiences that you're creating, you're trying to target all, they don't auto update over time. You have to go back in to your audience manager on Facebook, and you have to edit that audience and check off the new videos that you've added in. Actually, let me show you exactly what that looks like here. I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to do a screen share. Just give me one quick second here. 3 seconds of the video, and then I'll screen share. I just want to make sure I'm on the right account. We'll use Small Dog's account, and then I'll screen share here. Oh wait, Small Dog doesn't have any videos. Oh, he's got some. Okay, well, I have a test account for my dog. Let me go share screen, and I'm going to pick Ads Manager Audiences. Allow. All right. So you can see here, these are the videos. I would have to go in and check off these videos and add them to the list. Or I can pick one specific video if I wanted to and just use that one specific video. Now, heads up, this is Small Dog's test account. I haven't put any content on it in forever. So these video views, yeah, they're recorded, but this is 2018 and these ones are 2019. You can only retarget people up to 365 days of watching your video. So these guys are old. I would have to go and create new content, put the new content on my page, and then I would see the new video available here in the pick list. How did I get there? If I hit cancel, let's go back. When you go to create audience here, using that big blue create audience button, you're choosing the source is video. Hit next. And then that's where we get to that list of how many do we want to, who do we want to target? So if I want to go after people who've watched 3 seconds or more of my videos, still have to go through that one more step. I have to choose the videos. What videos? Well, I can pick all the videos I want, and there's usually more than one page. Page 1, page 2, etc., and so on. So that's something to keep in mind. Let me stop screen sharing here. So keep in mind, with that said, that means that you have to refresh those lists. They don't auto update like all of your other audiences. So if you create audiences of people who engage with your page, who have engaged with your Facebook page, engaged with your Instagram profile for the last 365 days, those will live update as long as you keep using those audiences in ads. If you stop using those audiences in ads, they go dormant. You can wake them back up again just simply by using them in an ad, and it'll wake back up again, and it'll update the numbers, so you'll be able to get accurate numbers. But video view audiences, you do have to manually go in and add new videos in there to keep them fresh. So I do that probably once every 2 weeks if I'm running active campaigns with myself or for clients. And if I'm not, then even if I'm not running active campaigns for people, I will still go in about once a month for the accounts that I touch and just go and update those audiences. And then what was the other thing? The other little pitfall that you could fall into. So we talked about, so we talked about the pitfall. Those 2 pitfalls that I want you to be aware of is if you're going to use video views for building audiences, it's got time decay on it. So 365 days is the amount of time you can retarget people. So if you have a massive, massive event that you are doing, say you're doing a giant festival and you're getting a ton of people to watch your video ads and you've attracted thousands of people in attention, and then your event completes, and then the next year your event is running a little bit later, especially right now where we've had a lot of people who couldn't run events throughout this past year, and now they've skipped a year or they've skipped several months, pushed it forward while things are opening back up again, while our world is opening back up, restrictions are easing, and more people can meet in person. Well, if you now go to start advertising again to those people that watched all those videos, but it was more than a year ago, those audiences are dead. They're gone. They're deflated. So keeping that in mind, your video view audiences are cheap and cheerful. They're easy to keep going 24/7 all year round. Keep cycling in new video, new creative, and video is not hard to produce. I've got other episodes of this that give you different examples of different types, different levels of video you can produce, whether it's high-end video, whether it's just using Canva to clip together an MP4 and export it that way, slideshow. You can use things like InVideo, super, super low cost and very high quality templates that you can use over there. So there's all sorts of different video tools that you can use to make video content. All of it counts toward video views. So you don't have to overcomplicate it, overthink it, but you do need to keep video content flowing all the time and keep updating those video view audiences all the time to make the video view strategy of audience building work for you. And then that second pitfall that you can fall into is if Facebook's algorithm just starts heavy delivering your content in the wrong placement that isn't suiting you, isn't working for you, isn't actually driving results for you, then you do need to pay attention to your reports. You need to go back in and edit your campaign and pull out the placements that are underperforming for you or that are skewing your results, such as these ones that are forced video views in the in-stream video. So those are the little pitfalls that I want to help you avoid so that you don't run into. Chad is asking, can you build a video ad retargeting audience alongside a new audience built in one campaign? No. Yes. Yes and no. Yes and no. So you can create a video view audience. This is actually an example of somebody I was chatting with today. You can build a video view audience. Hypothetically, let's say we're targeting nationally. Let's say we're targeting the entire US, even though I'm sitting in Canada, but most of you are in the US. Actually, no, we've got a huge spread of people from all over watching this right now. But imagine if we're running a national campaign across all of the United States and we're retargeting people who have watched our videos. But we want to zero in on California because we get most of our conversions are coming from California. So what we'll do is we'll go and create an ad campaign. We'll pull in that video view audience of anyone who's watched, say, 10 seconds or more of our video. Now, if I just leave it at that, that's not just reaching California, that's reaching everybody that's watched our videos. But then I can further narrow it down in my audiences by then selecting a country selecting a state and saying, I want to only retarget people who've watched my videos for whatever it was, 10 seconds or more, and who live in California. And so I can narrow it down that way. So I can kind of layer on those audiences. Let me see if I read that right. Can you build a video ad retargeting audience alongside a new audience built in one campaign? Can you build a video ad retargeting audience? Yes. Alongside a new audience built in one campaign. So another way I'm reading this or can spin this is that you don't have to run a full campaign start to finish to grow a video view audience and then go and create a new campaign and then start to finish, retarget those people. You can kind of run them simultaneously. So you can run a campaign on its own with a video, reaching a cold audience of people who have never met you before. And you can also simultaneously have a separate campaign running that is retargeting people who have watched that video. The other cool thing you can do is instead of having to retarget people for 365 days who've watched that video for 365 days, you can target people. You can use the video campaign window. Let me pull it up again here. Share screen. Let's pick the right screen. Nope. This screen. Yes. That's what I want to share. So go back. So here, retention. So if I want to target people who have watched 10 seconds or more of my video, and I want to retarget anyone who's watched 10 seconds or more of my video in the last 7 days. So I'd create an audience and I'd probably name it video views, 10 seconds, video views, 10 seconds, 7 days. And then I would create that audience. I can't create it now because I haven't selected my videos to go inside that. So I have to go and select what videos, and then I could save that. So that would create an audience of people who have watched those chosen videos or whatever video in the last 7 days. So I can use that to retarget people, and I can create a funnel based on that, and I can run it simultaneously at the exact same time as running my initial cold audience campaign. So there's a lot of different ways that there really are a lot of creative ways that you can be using video campaigns to audience build and to retarget. And it's a very low cost way of doing it. When I say low cost, let me pull this back up on just for a nice placeholder here. But it's a low cost way of doing it. And when I say low cost, when we're talking about 15-second plays down here, on average, I can get 15-second plays, and my own are costing me around 10 to 12 cents per 15-second play, which is called a through play. So 10 to 12 cents per somebody watching through 15 seconds. If I'm just going based on like 3-second views, I can get people in at less than a cent. So it depends. And I've also got other people, other campaigns, other clients that when we're looking at the 15-second views, they're a lot higher and some people who are a lot lower. But they're still one of the cheaper ways of getting people to engage with your content and reach a lot more people. So if you're on a very limited budget, if you're limited by budget, you don't have a lot to work with and it doesn't make sense to try and get conversions or get leads or even to get people off of Facebook, clicking off of Facebook and going onto your website, that's expensive. If you don't have that kind of money to throw around on Facebook ads, video campaigns, video view campaigns, and video retargeting is going to be your best friend, and it's a great place to get started, and it's a great way to grow your audiences. So with that said, let me throw this back up. I love using Restream, seriously. I'm gonna pull that up. Last chance on today, but if you do want to jump in on that, get yourself a nice Restream account. This show is sponsored by Restream, so thank you very much to our sponsor. You can grab that 7 days free pro account so you can have all these features, do all the cool things that I'm doing in here with that 7-day free trial. And let me just jump into the comments here. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. I hope I was able to nail that okay for you, Chad. And then, do I teach a course on this? I sure do. I run the Swift Kick in the Ads membership. So if you want to get a Swift Kick in the Ads, you head over to swiftkickintheads.com and you can sign up to become a member. And it includes the 4-week Facebook Ads Bootcamp. So I break it into 4 weeks or 4 sessions, however you want to look at it. And I teach it live in a live environment, similar to this. So you're getting the most up-to-date Facebook ads training possible so that you're not getting, 2 weeks after I'm done recording, the information's kind of old and outdated because Facebook changes so much. But the cool thing is, if you join it, I rerun that program every 3 months. So once you're in it, you're in it. Once you're in the boot camp, you're in the boot camp. And I rerun the Facebook ads 4-week boot camp 4 times a year to help keep you current. So you don't have to catch all of it all up front. If you watch some of the replays, cool. If you catch 1 or 2 of the lives, cool. But over the course of time, as your skills increase, the information is there and available, and you can always catch the most fresh and up-to-date information. And so I break it into 4 sections. Week 1, I teach you actually how to go in and use Ads Manager. So we're getting you off of that boost button, and we're getting you beyond the boost, getting you inside the back end of Ads Manager, which I know is kind of scary sometimes, but I make it easy for you. And then week 2, we go into audiences and targeting. So we talk a lot about what we talked about on today. Today we zoned in on video specifically, but I'll show you all the other audience building tips and tricks you need to know, including how to research and build higher quality audiences. Then week 3, we talk about budget and strategy. How much money should your Facebook ads cost you? And there's different varying strategies depending on how much budget you have to work with. Similar to what we just talked about here, if you don't have a lot to work with, video view campaigns are going to be your best friend. And then week 4, we go into reporting and optimizing. So I teach you how to read all of these reports and make sense of it so that you can start manipulating your campaigns to work more in your favor. And so you're not wasting and slow bleeding money out all over the place without knowing why. So if that's of any interest to you, then you can head on over to swiftkickintheads.com and get in on the upcoming August bootcamp. Highly recommend it. It's also priced very conservatively for small businesses and entrepreneurs, so it's not expensive. So definitely consider checking that out. And with that, I think that is my cue to wrap this up. So my name is Amanda Robinson. I am the Digital Gal. I teach Facebook advertising with my Swift Kick in the Ads membership, my 4-week Facebook Ads Bootcamp. And I love teaching you everything I can about video marketing, everything about live streaming, video marketing, and how to make your life a little bit easier using tools like Restream. So if that's of interest to you, again, make sure you check out that free trial, that 7 days free. Okay, everybody. Thank you. I hope you're having a fantastic week. I hope your summer has been off to a great start, and I will see you back here next week, same time, same place. However, next week, I have a real treat in store for you. I am bringing somebody on who is incredibly, insanely talented in the gaming industry. So you're going to want to check that out. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Ciao. Have a great one. Bye.